2 minutes to midnight, people. It's time for the pre-patch, and I got everything you're gonna need to know going into it. Hello, everybody. It's your boy Jmulls, and we definitely have a lot to talk about. Let's begin with the big new addition for the pre-patch, and that is the third specialization for Demon Hunter, Devourer. Instead of being Fel inclined, it's more Void and Dark inclined, and instead of being pure melee, it goes for more mid-range approach, casting spells and collapsing stars, oh my, and it's really dang cool. And coming into the game right alongside Devourer, we're getting a new hero talent specialization, Annihilator. It's all about raining down these giant meteors from the sky on your opponents. It's really dang cool. Reminds me somewhat of Templar Retribution Paladin, with the way that Templar is all about raining hammers down on your opponents. This spec is a visual spectacle, oh my god, and it's really dang cool because in the talent tree, at least when I played on the beta, it had a couple of different main playstyles. One that involved going into melee range far more often, but also jumping out and doing a bunch of really cool and sick animations. And you go that playstyle, or you can go a route that is far more pure caster oriented, where you're staying at range for a larger chunk of your time. And if you have access to a Demon Hunter, give this spec a try because it's really dang cool. And if you like to play Alliance on occasion, well, a new race will be able to become Demon Hunters, Void Elves. You'll just have to do a short quest line, I think it's short, in-game, and then you'll be able to unlock Void Elf Demon Hunters. There's also a more minor change, that changing the Felscard hero talent tree to just be called Scard. That way they get painted over to be more Void-based if you're a Devourer, because Devourers have access to Annihilator and Scard. And that is definitely not all coming in the pre-patch. One of the other more substantial changes coming with the pre-patch are the overhauls a lot of classes and specs are getting. Pretty much everything's going to play different to some level. Not only are talent trees basically reworked, but the core gameplay loop for a lot of classes and specs is going to change. Now, one of their stated goals with this is stronger class identity. I'll let you be the judge for that. But it's also fair to say some specs and classes are going to change more than others. It's like, if you enjoyed Ret Paladin before, you're probably still going to enjoy it, even if it does play a little bit different. But there's also something to bear in mind here. A lot of these classes and specs are designed for max level in Midnight. So when we get to the pre-patch, we're not going to have all those extra talents to be able to put in to round out our kits or anything like that. So there may be some awkwardness in terms of your kit, in terms of what you have access to, and stuff like that. Clearly, one of their goals is to reduce button bloat and reduce the amount of buttons you need to have access to at any given time. Again, results will vary here, but don't be surprised when you see some buttons transform into other buttons, and if your hotbars look a lot lighter when we get to the pre-patch. Personally, I would recommend that if you have leveled a bunch of characters with Legion Remix, try them out and see if maybe your preferences have changed and what you actually want to main going into Midnight maybe isn't the character that you wanted to main in the War Within. We will have plenty of time until Midnight comes out properly, so now's as good a time as any to figure out, okay, what do I actually enjoy, what do I still enjoy, and what do I want to main going into Midnight here? Because in about a week, we're going to get the actual pre-patch event taking place in the Twilight Highlands. It'll be interesting to see how Blizzard actually handles the pre-patch, because there's also another couple of changes, or just consequences of the changes made with the pre-patch that are going to be like hanging over all of our heads until we actually get to Midnight proper. We're getting a stat and item level squish, so numbers across the board are just going to be smaller. It's going to be all relative to what it was before. Now, they've claimed that before, and it always isn't necessarily the case. So if some scaling, especially for older content, feels a little bit off, that's probably why. But on top of that, if you're running a bunch of the War Within content, you're running it now with classes and specs that are designed for a Midnight world and Midnight encounter design. So there could be some, let's call them inconsistencies there, where it just doesn't feel right. We won't have to deal with that for too long, just be aware that could happen. Speaking of, the UI is getting an overhaul when we get to the pre-patch. They want to take a bunch of functionality that used to exist only within add-ons and put it into the base game to alleviate some people's concerns and issues with having to download third-party modifications for World of Warcraft to get an actually good player experience. So they're adding things like boss warnings into the game itself. So when you go into a dungeon or a delve or a raid or whatnot, instead of needing things like DBM or bigwigs, the game itself will provide that information for you. And I'm sure nothing will I'll ever go wrong with this, absolutely. On top of that, we're getting an in-game damage meter, and for some unknown reason, they put it in the top left corner of the screen here. As you can see, you can edit with edit mode, but still, oh, it's worse the more you look at it. The interrupt thing is off center. Oh, they're all like askew. Oh no, that's terrible. But yeah, we're getting in-game damage meters. Office is topping the meters as well, like as you would expect. Illidan's at the bottom. What a peasant. So you can track things like DPS, healing, done, interrupts, without feeling the need to get an add-on to actually do that for you. Is it worth it? Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. And they are changing a lot, like nameplates overall, new sound alerts, just alerts overall, and things with like the cooldown manager, trying to make them far more customizable baseline in the experience of World of Warcraft. Now, is it going to be as customizable and versatile as add-ons? Definitely not, don't get me wrong. But just the main thing to expect is expect your UI to be absolutely screwed when we get the pre-patch. There's quite a few add-ons that just no longer work or just aren't getting supported. Just expect your UI to be basically throwing a Lego set down on the carpet and just mixing it all up. We're gonna need to spend some time sorting this out. We are getting a bunch of transmog updates. So the way the old system worked was that you would make an outfit and you would pay gold whenever you would want to actually transmog into that outfit. The new system is you unlock these outfit tabs. It's a one-time purchase for your entire account for all your different characters that gets progressively more expensive the more tabs you buy. Then in each of those tabs, you can assign your outfit to it, right? And for each outfit, you can assign various specific situations for when the game should auto transmog you into that outfit. Like if you're inside a city limit, or you're in your house, in a dungeon, a raid, etc, etc, etc. Now, swapping to a different outfit doesn't actually cost gold. Assigning an outfit to a tab, that's what costs gold. So if you're swapping a transmog all the time between a couple of different outfits you already have put in, or for various situations, that's not going to cost you any gold. If you want to change an outfit tab or buy another outfit tab, that's what will cost you gold here. Now, the way that it worked for me, at least on the Midnight beta, is that all my old outfits would be saved under custom sets, and I could just put those custom sets onto an outfit tab, so it's not like I'm losing my previous work. It's just I can't just transmog to them immediately or anything. What this should allow you to do is be able to swap between your various outfits far more passively, but also often. I think it'll be a little bit awkward on release for a bunch of people because you'll have to buy those outfit tabs to be able to utilize those outfits to begin with, but I think when people give it time, I think a lot of people will really like the new flexibility and the customization that these new settings and updates bring to the table. Guys, we're actually getting PvP updates. Well, they call it PvP. I'd argue it's more PvE than anything. You see, we're getting this thing called the player versus player training grounds. Sounds like PvP, right? Well, you get 3 BGs, Arathi Basin, Silvershard Mines, and Battle for Gilneas. But instead of having a team fight another team of players, it's your team with other players facing off against essentially bots. And the idea behind this is that it'll allow you to actually face off against PvP-like encounters in a way that should be low stress, so you're not fighting a bunch of gladiators all the time, right? And to get you acclimated to the PvP modes and stuff like that. And they did mention that there will be quite a few achievements associated with this. Honestly, I think this could be pretty dang cool, because I think one of the biggest barriers of entry for a lot of people getting into PvP is if they don't start day 1 of a season, they feel like they're just going to be a drag on their entire group because they're not out of the gate with good gear for PvP or anything like that. They may not have the experience, they may not have the knowledge of how to like manage cooldowns, CCs, and all of that, and they get absolutely turbo wrecked by people that actually know what they're talking about and doing, and they just lose any desire to try out the mode. Something like this to allow people to like whet their appetite with PvP, I think could be beneficial. It really does depend on the reward structure and how actually competent these bots are. I don't have the highest of hopes, but maybe it'll be cool every now and then. We'll have to wait and find out.
Good energy here on the...
And then we have the other big one, and that is the updates to housing overall. Yes, we have access to early access for housing, but with the pre-patch, we're going to be getting a big piece of content for housing, and that is endeavors. These are going to be neighborhood-wide, various things to do. The examples they give are things like crafting, questing, dungeons, and everyone in your neighborhood is going to be contributing to your neighborhood goal for the endeavor. endeavor. And if you're able to successfully complete the endeavor, fill the bar, you'll get access to what they call special vendors, decorations, and currency community coupons to beautify their shared spaces. These will rotate between various neighborhoods. So the 5 initial endeavors we're going to have access to are the following: Friend of the Grummels, Reaching Beyond the Possible, Moderate Mechanization, Consortium Consternation, and Small Sensation. And each of these different endeavors will bring different aesthetics to the table that you can purchase decor for. And if you don't like the vendors that you have access to in your neighborhood, you can go to a different neighborhood because chances are they're going to have a different endeavor going on. And operating right alongside that, if you really don't like human orc like exterior housing, we're going to be getting Night Elf and Blood Elf. And yeah, they look pretty dang cool to me. So even more customization, more decors coming to the table with Prepatch. If you already liked housing, you're probably going to like it even more now. There's another thing that makes me just scratch my head, and that is the return of the Winds of Mysterious Fortune event. Okay, cool. I mean, I'm not going to complain about the Winds of Mysterious Fortune returning. I mean, it will give you a buff to experience if you want to level new alts. We just had Legion Remix. Maybe some people are returning for the pre-patch and missed out on Remix, so they didn't play Legion Remix, or they have other alts they want to level. Okay, sure. What I do like, though, is the buff to reputation we're going to get alongside the Winds of Mysterious Fortune. That could be very good to getting a bunch of old reputations to unlock more housing decor. That's what I'm going to be really capitalizing the Winds of Mysterious Fortune event when it comes online for. But you may be going, well, there's not that much actually here with the pre-patch content-wise, right? Well, not exactly. Yeah, what we're going to get access to on Reset is going to be a lot of foundational and systemic changes to the game, with a few new additions here and there. The actual pre-expansion event, though, that's coming in a week from now, and it's going to be called the Twilight Ascension, and they released a whole trailer for this thing, right? I'm not expecting too much from it, but as they say, it should be a good opportunity to test out the various class changes going into Midnight, while also giving you a way to gear some alts if you want to bang out any remaining The War Within content. Now, there is something I really want to focus in on because I think it's a massive missed opportunity. The login screens are kind of lame. It's like, I get what they're trying to do with this gate-like thing for the World Soul Saga, because they did it with the War Within, and now they're doing it with Midnight as well. And yeah, sure, in a vacuum, this looks pretty okay and cool. You have shards of void glass going into the central vortex of void, shadowy, dark energies. Yeah, it looks cool. And then in the Midnight beta, we get this one, where it gives us this view of Silvermoon through the gate as well. And yeah, it looks fine. It looks nice even. However, right? In your heart of hearts, when we look at all the old login screens, God, the new ones just lack aura. It's like classic, TBC, this one's so good. I mean, do we even have to talk about Wrath of the Lich King? Cataclysm with a giant dragon. Yeah, it looks a little bit goofy, but still it looks pretty cool. Mists of Pandaria with the use of color, the lighting. Warlords of Draenor going back to the Dark Portal. Legions with this demonic gateway thing and the braziers and the demonic gods. BFA, I mean, come on, dude. Heck, even Shadowlands was pretty cool with ICC and the Shattered Sky. And look, I'll say it, I think the Dragonflight login screen looked really nice as well. And then we get like the old War Within login screen. It's so tame in comparison. And I think, look, if I wanted to really drag this out, I could argue how it's like a microcosm for like the issues of the cool and grandiose moments the game used to be known for, and they're kind of just not really there in terms of the main story. But like, I get what they're trying to do with the aesthetic consistency for the login screens for the War Within and Midnight, and I imagine the Last Titan. I get it, right? I don't think it works, and I don't think it is worth it at all. They just look so tame and small in comparison to how grandiose and epic that they used to feel. Like, they used to get you excited logging into the game, and I get it. You don't look at these things all that much nowadays, especially since you're just using battle.net to log in now. But even for the brief amount of time that you actually see these login screens, like you go to play TBC like Anniversary right now, and the Burning Crusade login screen looks awesome and gets you excited to play the game, and there's just something I don't get out of this, or even this. Like, if it was just Silvermoon proper and maybe a shot of like the Sunwell or something, it would look so much cooler. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a small thing, but sometimes it's the small things that do matter in the long run. It's just kind of bleh, you know? It could be way cooler than what it is. Just could be. And here's where you come in. While Prepatch is not bringing to the table a bunch of new content or anything like that, it is changing a lot of the foundational systems and the skeletal framework of the game. So what are you looking forward to the most? What are you hesitant about? And what do you just not outright like? I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives. And while you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And Legion Remix recently ended, and you know what? I had a great time with it. But it's also time to take stock. What did Legion Remix do right? And also, what could the next remix be? Because it may be kind of spelled out for us already. Want to find out more? Well, you should check out this video right here. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.